Hi and welcome. In this chapter, we will discuss about Amazon Web Service Compute Services, which is also called as EC2, which stands for Elastic Compute. So, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a web service that provides secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. So, it will allow you to deploy virtual machines within your AWS environment. So, for example, let's say you have a requirement to deploy or you wanted to migrate your workload to AWS cloud. So, you need to create virtual machines, which is also called as EC2 instance. So, for example, let's say you wanted to create a virtual machines. So, it requires RAM, which is a memory, and it requires CPU, as well as it requires storage to store the operating system data, etc. And then it may require IP address for the communication. So all these things which comes under Amazon EC2. So Amazon EC2, it is a service which will provide you the service to deploy the virtual machines. So this is in a nutshell. So instant type comprise variable combination of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity, and give you the flexibility to choose the appropriate mix of resource for your application. The meaning of this is in Amazon we have multiple types of virtual machines or EC2 instance based on your requirement. Maybe let's say you have a requirement to deploy your database, which may require huge memory and CPU, and at the same time you may have some application server such as your SharePoint, etc., or your any other workload which may not require that much memory. So for all the kind of workloads, you have different types of sizes in Amazon Web Services. Based on your requirement, you can choose the right sized virtual machine that will fit into your requirement. So let's discuss about those. So in a high level, we have three types, which is general purpose, and then compute optimized, and then we have memory optimized. So let's go to the Amazon documents and we'll dive deep into this particular types. So if you go to this particular URL, you will get what are the types of available sizes in Amazon Web Service. So the first one, as it said, which is general purpose. So general purpose, it provides a balance of compute, memory, and networking resources. So for example, let's say if you wanted to deploy an application that requires high performance and high throughput, such as financial application or application server, simulating or gaming, etc. So this is the best use case for general purpose. So if you go to general purpose, so you have the features. For example, let's say it can provide up to 3.7 gigahertz fourth generation processor, and it will provide you 50 gbps of networking bandwidth and up to 40 gbps of bandwidth to the elastic block storage, so etc, etc. So you have here the different SKUs. So the most famous SKUs are T2, which is under general purpose. So if you go to T2, you will have T2 small, which comes with uh, 2 GB memory and 1 vCPU. Similarly, if you have higher requirements such as medium and large, you can choose with the medium or large, which will provide you 2 vCPU and 4 GB RAM. Similarly, the large will provide you 8 GB RAM with the 2 vCPU. So similarly, you can go with 2x large, which will provide you 8 vCPU and 32 GB RAM. So this is the brief about general purpose EC2 instance. So let's go to the compute optimized. So compute optimized instance ideal for the compute bound application and that benefit from high performance processors. So the use case for compute optimized SKU, network intensive workload such as virtual appliances, data analytics, or CPU based artificial intelligence and machine learning interfaces. For example, let's say you are running a workload which consists of AI or machine learning, etc., etc., which requires huge processing requirement. Then you can go with this particular compute optimized. So here we have many generation. So we have C7G and C7G, C6i, etc., etc. So based on your requirement, you can choose the right size for your workload. So if you have a requirement for the memory, for example, let's say some application which requires huge memory, such as your database or real-time big data analytics, etc. So you can go with memory optimized workload or memory optimized size. or you can go with memory optimized SKU, which will provide higher memory, and it will help you to overcome the memory limitation which is available in compute optimized or general purpose. So memory optimized are mainly provides higher RAM for your VM or EC2 instance. So similarly, we have many other types such as accelerated computing, storage optimized, HPC optimized, instance features, etc., etc. So according to your requirement, you can choose the best one so that will fit your infrastructure. So when you are deploying your EC2 instance, you need to keep some things in your mind. So first thing, you need to choose the perfect size which fits your requirement. Either it is a compute optimized or it is a general purpose, etc., etc. So first one is the type, and then you need to have a image. So either you wanted to build a Windows or Linux, accordingly you have to choose the image. So if it is a Windows, you can choose different versions such as Windows Server 2012, 16, 22, etc., etc. So once you have the image details, then you should have the availability zone and the region. So on which region, for example, let's say I wanted to deploy in North Virginia, so I need to choose my region, and in this region I need to choose the availability zone as well. So there are n number of availability zone within the region. So which region you wanted to deploy, so you have to choose that. Always choose the region which is nearest to your users so that you can avoid the latency. So this is the very important thing you need to keep it in mind while you deploy your virtual machines.